Welcome to Down the Road with me, Joel Heitkamp. Got a lot of things we're going to try to cover today. We're going to bring a couple of Vietnam vets in. It's Vietnam Memorial Week, and so we're going to talk to them. It's interesting because I was at the Fargo Air Museum, and I had the opportunity to look at a lot of the gear they used and a lot of the memories that it came along with it. And so I thought, let's bring them on TV and give people a chance to hear from two old Vietnam vets that were right there in the heart and soul of it, and that aren't afraid to talk about a lot of the things that came along with it. And so we'll do that on Down the Road today. But first off, Jason Ellert. Well, I've known Jason for a while. Jason is with the North Dakota Building Trades Union, and quite frankly, he scares me because he's a power lifter, and I get the sense that he could kick my butt anytime. How you doing, Jason?
Hey, good afternoon, Joel. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Good to have you on. You do serve on the Governor's Workforce Council, do you not?
Yeah, I sit on the Governor's Workforce Development Council, and there's about 33 of us that sit on there and bringing in industry, business, and labor to talk about workforce development issues and how do we solve it for the state of North Dakota.
More jobs and more good-paying jobs.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So people who tell you that unions are dead, what's your answer to them?
Go ahead, think that. I'll just keep doing my thing and kick their butts. I guess that's my thing. Is it's one of those things of people who say that does organized labor represent the workers? And I always kind of chuckle at that, and I go, well, who does? I've been hearing that ever since I was in college, and economics professors trying to shove that down my throat of organized labor doesn't represent workers, and things can be like this, and they can the economy or the market will marginalize itself, and I'm like, I don't see that happening. So
let me ask you this, because stats are something that you have at the ready, I have no doubt. So give me round numbers if you want. I don't care, but how much extra does a union worker get than a non-union worker in a normal trade?
Typically, what the numbers are is 30% more. 30% more between if you take the wages and the benefits and everything all together on that. You combine that on there. A lot of times that we'll find especially union versus non-union, is just the wages. The wages can be very comparable. You'll see individuals that have chosen the non-union. We don't target them or we don't badmouth them or anything. They probably just don't know. But a lot of times, even for my choice, why I went into unions is the benefits. I had family health insurance, a pension, retirement, those kinds of things. I worked as a bricklayer, and I always just would chuckle about guys who are working just for their daily wage. And that trade is really hard on you. I mean, I love it. I still I have dreams about it. As crazy as that sounds. Some guys would probably say nightmares. But if you work that hard, wouldn't you want something at the end of the day? Oh. And I don't understand why you wouldn't.
Some of the best people in my home area were bricklayers. You want to talk about hard on you. Yeah. I mean, hard on you. Wear your body out. So everybody who sits there and says, well, you can easily work past 65, 67. I'm like, be a bricklayer. You're not going to do that.
No. Most of those, you do want to try and retire early, or you're running work as a bricklayer towards the end. That's what my dad did. He was a foreman for them, and he actually one of the foremans on the Ingolstadt Arena. One of his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of his proudest accomplishments.
So when you take a look at the unions as a whole, do you think we've forgotten? Because when I was in the legislature, one of the big things that I did was support those union workers out to the Bobcat plant. Mm-hmm. That was in my legislative district. They were being treated like crap, quite frankly, and I could care less what the company thinks of me for saying that. But they were being told on a Friday that they had to work a Saturday, and it didn't matter if it was a family reunion. It didn't matter any of that. And basically when they struck, they went out on strike. They did that for respect. Mm-hmm. They didn't do it. They wanted some semblance of normal in their life. Yeah. And so when we walked the line, it wasn't for a higher wage that day. It wasn't for better health benefits that day. It was to not be treated like you were anything less than a human that day. Yeah. And so do you think at times the workers now, because I know a number of those workers out at Melrose, out at the Bobcat plant, or Doosan, I suppose is the way to say it, but they don't join the union. They don't understand and appreciate what we accomplish for them.
It's really about the dignity. Kind of like exactly for your example is just being told. And what recourse? Well, you're working tomorrow, guys. Well, it's Saturday. I planned this out. You're working. And
Yeah.
I guess that's probably why I never went into the military. I have a problem with people telling me what to do. You know,
You're the right size. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
yeah, no, but it's dignity, it's respect, it's health insurance, it's retirement, it's a living wage, all of those things we advocate for. And yeah, unfortunately, the state of North Dakota is a right-to-work state, where I always like to say it's right to entitlement, because where else can you be a member of something, enjoy all the benefits of it, the membership, and not have to pay dues? You can't be a member of the NRA without paying your dues. You can't get a cell phone without signing a contract. You can't be a member of your local gym or exercise facility or whatever without paying your dues. But right to work, right to entitlement, yeah, you can. So that's always kind of where I like to frame that conversation.
Yeah.
You get something for not doing anything.
That's a great way to put it. How about those men and women that stand alongside you? Because one of the big concerns that everyone has, and it's such skill. I mean, it really is. There's such a skill that goes with a lot of this union work. Where are we going to find them? I know that the Biden administration is pushing hard on that, and that in his address last night to the country, he mentioned it.
Yeah.
And so there was some encouragement there for people like you and I. But where do we find that next generation of workers?
Well, so that's one of the things that we've been doing in the building trades unions is to get back into the schools, talk to students, talk to hopefully parents, and just show that there is a dignity, there is a career potential within construction. I've been at numerous career fairs. Well, where I got this idea was I was at a career fair one time, and a young man came up to me, and I started giving the spiel about construction and apprenticeship programs. And the young man looked at me and said, well, if I can't make it in college, I'll come back to the trades. I'll come work construction. And it just kind of flipped a switch on for me is, we shouldn't be seeing construction, if you fall back into it or you decide to do it, as something that you failed.
Yeah.
And I have a college degree. I'm grateful for the education that I have, but an apprenticeship program in the Bricklayers Union set my career in motion. I got a lot of benefits out of it. I got a lot of satisfaction out of it. And I think that's the key piece that we've been trying to do within schools and talking to students about. This is a viable career pathway. There's education through a registered apprenticeship program after high school. Because I think sometimes, even my dad is a proud union member. He always told me to go to school, get an education, don't become a bricklayer. He changed his tune as he got older, but there was this devaluation of what he actually did.
Yeah.
So,
When you take a look at the skill that comes to it, I know that the unions themselves invest in that.
yes.
That you truly do. I've been to some of your training sites. I've been to areas where the money that goes into, hey, you can operate that crane, you can operate that backhoe, you can do a lot of this, comes from the union itself. Describe to people what some of these sites are.
So our apprenticeship training programs are centers all across the state of North Dakota. I think we had, at last count, I think we had 9 training centers in the state of North Dakota. And then I think we have another 30 additional training centers in Minnesota that will do a lot of course curriculum and tangible curriculum development on there. The key on that is that education is always going to be a key to success. And yeah, that's skill. That's what we really are trying to push within the construction trades with us, the building trades unions, that you're not just going to come to school or come to work and you're just, I remember a hunk of meat with 2 arms and just move heavy stuff from point A to point B. There is changing in the construction. There's new methods, new methodologies, technology that's being introduced. You're a craftsman, a craftsperson. There's a lot of skill involved with this. Put that value back in there. So it's always through us with our registered apprenticeship programs. We don't ask for taxpayer dollars. We took care of our own. We understand the need that's there. We got to put that education, that training into our membership. And you need training on that because sometimes just, well, how do you build a building? Well, how do you do it? That's yeah, absolutely. So I mean, just even putting out studs 16 on center sometimes, well, what does that even mean sometimes? So that it's that putting that value back in, and that's going back to what we're doing in the schools of value on education, a value about apprenticeship programs, a value in construction. After high school, it's viable career pathways. That's what we're pushing, the biggest thing.
So when you take a look at what the men and women that our members do, not the skill themselves, but they do. in terms of for that next generation. Because to me, that's part of what you're doing with your training. Is it inherent? Is this something where, hey, like you said, your dad was a bricklayer, you know, you respected him, you did all of that. My dad was he worked rural water. I went into rural water. I did that for 23 years after my dad died. Was proud of it. I was proud of what he did. Do you see a lot of that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll probably even bore my kids and my wife as we drive around town, and I'll point out projects that I've been working on. And you get that sense of pride, something that you accomplished. And I know that there's probably, I mean, everybody's going to have pride in the work, but you get something that's tangible, something that you can see. Whether you're building a house, fixing someone's plumbing. Some of the coolest stuff I ever did was like make radius walls with brick, so a curved wall. At the Northwood schools, after they had that big devastating tornado in that community, I was up there building that school, and they actually had circle windows out of masonry. So I mean, one of the coolest things I've ever done. But yeah, it was masonry, block walls, rectangular shapes, and I was making them into a circle. So I mean, you get that satisfaction of something that's accomplished. I still miss it today because now in my role as the president, a lot more offices and meetings, and am I getting something accomplished at the end of the day? Where I knew that at the end of the day, working as a bricklayer, like I got that wall done or got that section done, or sometimes like, wow, I screwed that up.
Like any of us. Yeah,
exactly.
I was up to Northwood right after that tornado. In fact, I went up there and did some radio, and I said, anybody wants to come with and help pick up, you can hop in my cruise. We'll take the motorhome up and fit 10 people. Let's rock and roll. Got there the next day in my parking lot, there was 80 people there. And then we picked up more along the way. That's the spirit of that working man and woman where we live. And did you see the car or the pickup that just was one great big ball of metal on the edge of town? Or?
Yeah, I think when I just got to the job site, I saw that, and then eventually I think they got rid of it. But yeah, no, I think there were 1 or 2 people that lost their lives in that, and that's always horribly tragic. But yeah, I mean, it's a community coming together and saying, let's fix this, let's rebuild this.
What I always remember was the group from Newman Signs went up there knowing that some of these old canvases could be used as temporary roofs. And so there was a little old lady that she was on the southwest part of town, and we drove around looking for, places to place people to work. And she had a big Bud Light sign on the top of her house. And I thought that's, and she was laughing to be the heck out of a bad circumstance. So stick around, Jason. We're going to visit a little bit more as we continue to head down the road.
Howdy, folks. It's a Canine Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Canine burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing, because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it.
Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight, just pay a separate fee.
We'll even ship them to you free.
This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit BuyNightHero.com. That's BuyNightHero.com. Order now.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Good to have you still in the rig as we go down the road. I wanted to hang on to him because I think there's a lot of issues that we didn't talk about yet. Jason Ellert, he is with North Dakota Building Trades Unions, and he's good old-fashioned union supporter and organizer. And you know what? My family, union all the way. So I wanted to get a chance to visit with him a little bit more. Jason, the big project coming up with the FM diversion. Talk to people about what role the union worker is going to play in that.
So one of the things that we really pushed on there, and we worked together with the Chamber of Commerce, we talked to them, but you have such a large project coming to the community. I think I did the math on it, and for the size and the scope of it, it only ranks with Garrison Dam when they built that. So a large infrastructure project, probably the second largest the state has ever seen. You're going to have this huge need for a lot of workers on the project. And one of the things that we really pushed on there is to make sure that there's a workforce development portion of this on the P3. And to make sure when the project is done, we can have a highly skilled workforce at the end of it that can serve the community on there. So we pushed an apprenticeship training program, how you train local workers through there, through a registered apprenticeship program. The Trump administration had recognized that registered apprenticeship programs in the construction industry was a gold standard. That's how you train people. That's how you develop a highly skilled workforce. So through the building unions, and like we said with the Chamber of Commerce here, we talked to the Diversion Authority and said, let's put it in the specs of how do we train. We make sure we train local workers on this. So we don't just have an influx of traveling workers, and then when it's done, what do we get from it? I mean, we'll get flood control. I mean, that's the underground baseline.
And you get it done right.
But you get it done right. But then at the end of it, since we have this big challenge of workforce development in the state, let's do this public-private partnership. Let's get private business working with colleges, working with the unions, and let's train up local workers.
See, I doubt that was a problem with the contractor. What about the owner? I mean, if I'm the contractor, I'm already having a hard time finding those workers that I need. So, hey, I'm all in. Train them in, help us any way you can, but what about the owner?
Really, actually, surprisingly, the Diversion Authority, the owners, who represent us, as were all on board with it and said, yeah, let's do this. Let's train local workers and get it done. So I worked with representatives of the Diversion Authority, Joel Paulson, and how we crafted up a very good piece of documentation to say, let's make sure that we train 15% of the workers on this project have to be in a registered apprenticeship program. How do we get local workers on this project? They have to be local workers, and getting them the skills, that training, tangible, something that's valued. I didn't want to see on a project of, well, the local workers will take the more simple stuff. No, let's get them heavy equipment operators, bulldozer operators, pipe fitters, iron workers, rebar tires, industrial painters, because there's all going to be steel on this, and you have that coating. So across the board, apprenticeship programs is going to be affiliated with this. So,
Jason, I wanted to talk to you about retraining because, and I know, well, actually, these are all areas that can affect us even in North Dakota. The coal industry, it's evolving. It's changing, and a lot of people are looking at what has been an absolutely fabulous industry for the state of North Dakota, and they're looking at the future and saying, is it going to be someday what it is today?
Yeah.
And we have an administration now that says, look, because of global warming, because of where we're at with the Paris Accord and some of these things, we need to back off on the use of coal. Now, I realize that's highly controversial in the state of North Dakota, but the administration keeps talking about with some of the renewable possibilities, what we can is take those workers and retrain. What's the attitude on the workers when it comes to that?
So it gets to be a difficult balance. I mean, some of them, I've done this. I've worked in this industry. I've trained to be a boilermaker, a pipe fitter, an electrician, industrial painter. I know my skill. I know my craft. I know it very well. I'm very good at it. Why are you taking my job, my position over, economic issues, political forces? The real key, what we're trying to really encourage is that in all of the above energy, but how, like CCUS, which carbon capture, utilization, and storage, and how that can be that next net zero carbon emitter. And that can be a part of this solution on there. And then the new technologies that are coming, that would probably be some retraining, because the power plants as they exist right now may continue, but this new technology, these bolt-ons, there's going to involve some new training. There's new welding techniques. There's new alloys that are being developed. So you're talking about some retraining that's going to need to be there. Stainless steel. A lot of these new plants will have a lot of stainless steel. Not everybody can weld stainless steel. So there'll be some retraining that's involved for a lot of those steel trades in the building trade unions, and how we train them up to meet the needs of what the contractors are at, what the industry needs, because you don't want to build these things and then have them fail, because then that's a big disaster.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the men and women that are your members,
Yes.
that realize that good union work is the type of work that you can get paid better for.
Yeah.
Those individuals, do they find themselves at time in the political crosshairs? Because you got one side that doesn't like unions at all, and you've got another side that does exactly what we're saying right now, which is, hey, you've got to retrain. Well, you take a 55-year-old man or woman that's working on the coal mine and say, oh, all right, you're going to be something different today. That isn't going to go over so good.
No.
And so here you are, and the people in your profession stuck in the middle.
Yeah, we get thrust in the middle on a lot of issues, and really it's a lot of times that educational piece. What we try and strive for is educating the importance of like collective bargaining with more conservative members of Congress about the importance of that, why that is. Like I talked about, you can't get a cell phone without a contract. Well, why can't workers have a contract? And contract goes both ways. Shows what the contractor's got to adhere to, but also what that employee else has to adhere to. It's a two-way street. And especially with more progressive, democratic individuals, elected representatives, is that conversation piece about the environment and how we can actually be a part of the solution, how you can capture this CO2, how you mitigate those things. Because we know that the information that's out there, maybe even in the United States, we could, even if you were to get away from coal completely and power the United States with just strictly renewables and solar, which is still a very tough task, we're not there yet, it still wouldn't reduce the overall emissions for the entire world. And this technology that we're working on right now, the DOE and those, if we can bring it here in the United States with our accumulated knowledge and our scientific prowess and the industry and the wealth, places like China are never going to bring them to them.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's the competition
Exactly.
that we have. I want to go down the auto industry. You take a look at everybody talking about how the electric automobile is the automobile of the future. Okay, that's fine. I've driven one. You've driven one. And we all know the snap.
Exactly. Even if you're bracing for it, it throws your head back.
But in the minute that we have left, I have to ask you, because you're supposed to make them someday. The good union worker is going to make that car and make it right. And then yet we're going to have a union worker mine the copper.
Yeah.
You can't build electric cars without copper.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we having that debate?
That's what I keep struggling with. I'm figure I can't put those two and two together on that. And if you truly, and it's not to call out environmentalists, but if we're going to really try and transition to cleaner energy or net zero carbon emissions, let's look at everything and how we actually do the mining, do that properly, do that effectively, do that properly so you don't ruin the environment. But then in coal and electricity generation, how you have that base load electricity, how you make sure when you turn the lights on, they're on when they come on. You know,
for me personally, it's a lot like saying I want wind energy, but I don't want to look at a wind tower.
Yeah.
Jason, good to talk to you. We'll do this again.
Absolutely.
I know you always have a lot of things going on, so let's take the opportunity to help promote that someday. When we come back, we're going to talk to a couple Vietnam vets, people that were there fighting on behalf of this country and getting the job done. So stick around. We're going to keep going down the road.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single-game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
Beck Communications is hiring. Beck Communications is now seeking qualified applicants for promotion commercial producer position in our Bismarck Beck location. This position will assist Beck News and Beck Sports. To view the job details, visit www.beck.coop. To apply, email your cover letter and resume to careers@bechtel.coop. Beck Communications, making connections that matter.
It's Vietnam Memorial Week going on, and I have to tell you, I had the opportunity today to be at the Fargo Air Museum. The job that the Fargo Air Museum does, period, plain and simple, even though, not every time are they going to be having the honor of being able to show artifacts and just things from the Vietnam era. But the job they do day to day, I just want to encourage you to go see it sometime. It's on 19th Avenue in Fargo. And there's a beautiful air museum in Minot too. And there's a lot of different veterans organizations that you can find a way to support in your home area. But, being over at the Air Museum, with Vietnam Memorial Week going on, I wanted to get a chance to visit with some of these guys. So we're going to do this for a couple seconds. Larry Nicholson is Vietnam I'm Veterans America president here, and he's with Chapter 941. And Larry, I talked him into coming on. Larry, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Nice to be here.
So what just happened at the Air Museum? Describe that to people.
The event started on Saturday, and we had all kinds of speakers, and I tell you, you get overwhelmed by it all, but we had the national spokesperson for Agent Orange, Maynard Cadillac was there, and Jim Cronin from the Vet Center, I believe he is, doing PTSD, and the VA doing stuff on suicide prevention, and the VSOs, and Jason Hicks from the National Cemetery speaking on that behalf. And that was on Sunday. Then we had the Veterans Concert Band to end the day. And then on Sunday, I should have started there, Saturday, we started out with some ceremonies and the mayors and dignitaries and stuff like that. And that kicked it off.
Well, I can tell you this, what I love the most is when I left, there was kids there.
Yeah.
And those kids were getting a chance to interact with some of the veterans. This morning when I went to do radio there, you and some other veterans were sitting around a table having a cup of coffee and a cookie or whatever, and just getting ready for all these people that were going to come in to visit with. There was just two boys that walked in that room, and I'm, sitting over there watching from afar.
Yeah.
And I don't, you guys aren't going to recognize this as much as what I did, but you guys just lit up. I mean, you just, all of a sudden it was like, okay, now I know where I'm volunteering my time.
Oh, yeah. We let them know about Vietnam, and their grandfather's a Vietnam vet, and I think they're from Castleton, and very bright, and, and asking all kinds of questions. And so I asked them what grade they were in and all this, and one kid wants to be a pilot, and it's kind of just,
Was he the younger one?
The younger one, yes.
You could just see it.
Yeah, I know.
He was so excited to be walking around.
I know.
Like you said, their dad is a vet. Is that your experience, that military families stay military families?
Yeah, for the most part, I think. You'll find some that aren't, of course, but yeah, before I left, I was walking out the door, and this couple was leaving, and I was chatting with him, and found out he's a Vietnam vet. So I went and got him a membership form. You wanted to join. You didn't. So he didn't come. We had that tent where we sold shirts. He had no idea that's what we were doing there. So I went over and got him a form before I left.
That's smart. That's smart.
It was fun.
You're going to get the form back.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure I will.
So there was a gentleman there that I managed the rural water system for 23 years, and I think that I worked with Lyle. Everybody back home's got a nickname. Okay. And his name is Otis, and so I'm not going to tell you mine because you'll start using it. But Lyle, Otis came today. He was artillery in Vietnam, and he's very, very proud of that, and he should be very proud of that. But Otis was one of those individuals that has kept our local chapters of the VFW and American Legion going, and he looked at me and said, "You got to get active in the Sons of Legion, or at least sign up, because if you don't, we're not going to keep these things going." And so, organizations like yours, to hear you say, "I'm going to sign some folks up," you need them.
Oh, yeah, we do. And we have also associate members that a lot of those people are very important to us because they help us do things that we can't cover. And especially the younger people, some of us just can't do the stuff we want to do. And I know they're a godsend, really, they are. And a lot of them are friends of ours or had nothing to do with military people at all. They see and they start talking to you and they want to join, which is kind of nice. So, and we have a fairly good sized chapter, but they're scattered all over. And we always looking for members. So, and we are the largest chapter in North Dakota. And we reach out. We go places, they call us for a parade or speak in the schools, we go out there.
Yeah. In terms of the people that came through that door, how much do they know? How much education needs to happen? Because this has been a while now. This has been, hey, the grandkids kind of a deal. I mean, how much do they know about the Vietnam era?
Surprisingly, very little. And that's kind of sad, too. Sad commentary, what they teach in the schools. Because I was talking to one student yesterday, and she's from down by the St. Cloud area. And they had very little Vietnam, history in there. It's like a few pages long, and that's about it. And when we speak in schools, especially Doc and I, when we go, a lot of kids had never heard of Vietnam. How can they if they don't teach it?
Yeah, I was visiting with one of the pilots from Vietnam who went into commercial aircraft, and he was telling me that he spoke to one of the flight attendants on a flight that he was at, and he was talking to his co-pilot, who was a pilot in Vietnam as well, and they were just bantering back and forth, talking about their service. And the flight attendant came in and said, "You two were in Vietnam," and he's, they weren't bragging about it. They just were saying, "We flew there." And she goes, "So you were fighting the Japs?" And today he told me, he says, "I'm not kidding you about that." She said that. And, to me, and I'm not trying to pick on her, he never said her name. He wasn't trying to pick on her.
No.
But that has to be a continual discussion that I would guess you're having.
Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, we had a Vietnamese couple come in on Saturday, I believe it was. He was from Da Nang and she was from Hanoi. And got to talking with them and interacting with them. They had two little kids too, and we're having a lot of fun with them. And so I asked him if he would consider speaking in the class when we go. His eyes just popped. Like,
really?
You'd ask us to help, do this? I said, yeah. And he says, when we do it, do you want me to call you? And he goes, yeah.
Did it happen yet?
Not yet.
Not yet?
This just happened on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that part.
Okay.
I wasn't listening well. But good. That would be exciting.
Yeah. And it's welcoming them to the community. And I think he teaches at NDSU, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you think about your service in Vietnam, what do you think of? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Went over for a reason, I thought, and then you find all the stuff that happens. But you wanted to do the right thing and serve your country, and that's that's the reason when I go, reason I went over there. And you see all the stuff that happens, and man, really, people have no idea. It's a cultural shock when you go.
Mm-hmm.
And
one of the things I always got told by Lyle, who I worked with, Otis, he said, "You wouldn't believe how beautiful the country is."
Oh yeah, by all means. I just talked to one of our members that just got back from the same place that we both were stationed at. He came later. He said you would not recognize. It's all modernized and 5-star hotels and.
Well, okay, I got just a couple seconds left. If you want them to join or get active, what do they need to do?
They can call me at 701-412-7992 or email me at Larry Nicholson, all one word, spelled like Jack Nicholson, 02.
Well, he's your cousin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
At gmail.com. Yeah.
Say your email again.
Larry Nicholson, 02 at gmail.com.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I appreciate
thank
this.
you for your service.
You're welcome.
What they do and have done is absolutely amazing, but some came home and it was hard. They came home and it was really hard. I've got a gentleman coming on with us right now, and when we come back, he'll talk to you about how they help each other as we continue to head down the road.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests.
It began a 444-day nightmare.
Entertaining analysis. And it has everything to do with something that happened in history. And honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Down the Road. We've been talking about Veterans Memorial Week, Vietnam Veterans Memorial Week, and, it's just, it's an honor. It's an honor to get a chance to talk to the men and women that serve this country. And, there's so many things that happened in that era, some that never should have happened. And along with that came pain. Along with that came real struggles. And somebody I met is not afraid to talk about those, is not afraid to find a way to help others. And that's Ed Ahonen. Now, here's the thing. He's only known as Doc to me. And so we're going to do that here. Doc, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Thank you, Joel. It's good to be here.
So walk me through. Where did you serve? When did you serve?
I served from 69 to 71 in the highlands of Vietnam. 1st Field Force, 2nd 17th Field Artillery.
Okay. So how old were you when that happened?
I was one of the older boys, 23.
23, and
Right.
That's considered old.
Well, compared to the average age of 18, 19.
Oh, man, that's just unbelievable. When I asked this to Larry in the last segment, but when you think of Vietnam, what do you think of?
All the experiences. Once the foot hit the ground, the sights, the smells, the sounds, and then, as was already mentioned, Vietnam is a pretty country, but war-torn at the time. So that's what I think of. And hearing all the news from people that have been there today, entirely different.
What do you think that people's image of Vietnam is that they really don't know, that you wish that as many people could possibly know? This is an opportunity to tell them, what you wish they would have known about Vietnam that they really don't understand.
The people there are, it's difficult to put into words without offending the message to people, but Vietnam, the people deserve more than what they did get, deserve more than what apparently things today seem to benefit the people, the way the government is run. But as I think of Vietnam, I am glad to hear that, what's happening today, opposed to, compared to what I saw. But those folks suffered quite a bit between the government governments in Vietnam, the North and the South, and then now, of course, under one rule. But it's a different culture. It's interesting. The culture is interesting. The people are interesting. And to have them come over here, and Larry mentioned the individual that he talked to that would like to be on our school presentations, that's very encouraging. That's going to give out more to the people to let them know actually where he come from, what it's all about over in Vietnam.
So it was a long war. It was a
Yes.
very long war. You came in, I don't want to say towards the end because it went on a while, after your service. I realize that, and we
Yeah.
lost a lot of precious lives after that.
Yeah.
But, the country, did we try to win this war? Or did you fight it with one hand tied behind your back? And I'm talking about the government now. I'm not talking about the soldiers. I'm talking about what they did to allow you to succeed.
What the government did,
Yeah, I mean,
did not do.
Did not do is probably the way to put it.
That's a fact. Where I'm coming from, and a lot of Vietnam vets, we would have succeeded completely if we weren't held back. The campaigns, the bombing campaigns, there were 17 campaigns throughout the whole Vietnam conflict. War, depends on how some folks look at it. We considered it a war because of the 58,479 people on the wall there. But we had it taken care of. And the mission over there was to provide those people with the freedom and, the lifestyle they would prefer to have opposed to a communist rule. We were getting there. We were held back. The campaign, especially the bombing campaign, stopped. It should have continued. And I know some folks don't like to hear that. But the North at that time was coming over to discuss a surrender. And the bombing campaign stopped. And of course, we all know now what happened.
Yeah.
The North took over.
Well, I mean, and that's the truth.
It is the gospel truth.
Yep, that's just the way it is. I want to talk to you a little bit, Doc, about this, because I just think it's so courageous of you to go and try and help all your fellow soldiers that, fellow men and women that served with some of the struggles you can have when you get back home. And explain to the audience right now what happened when you got back home.
After my second tour, and coming back, flying into Frisco, San Francisco, getting off the plane, getting into the bus with painted over windows and driving around the back of the terminal. No one was supposed to go in the front and expose themselves that they were Vietnam vets and coming back. And I got off the bus, went down, knelt on the, my buddy and I knelt on the tarmac and kissed the tarmac, and all the yelling and all the people sitting over outside the fence and on top of these connexes were doing their thing, protesting thing, and we were ushered inside real quick. And getting inside, the cult group with their orange dress and shaved heads,
The Hare Krishna.
the Hare Krishna, were there to throw flowers in our faces and and arms around us, and I really didn't know what the world to do with that, at the time.
So you, as part of that healing process, you yourself had to seek some help and do what you did to make sure that you could live the life you've lived.
Joel, it was very difficult. There was no adjustment right away for me on my part, and I'm sure veterans out there can relate to that. It was a dark corner I lived in for many years, trying to do things just to cover up my true feelings and getting it out until years later, a counselor at the vet center got together, pulled me aside and said, "It's about time you get in and see us." And that's been a godsend. Twice a month, I'm involved with combat therapy group at the vet center. They were out there at the Air Museum this morning, as a couple other groups were yesterday and today. So it gives them exposure. Some of these people that are in that therapy group, before we had the Vietnam Week scheduled, they would come to the parking lot but couldn't go in. Those same people were there this morning. So it's an emotional trip to identify with that person coming in, because that was me.
And that's still available to. And where do they find it? How do they get to somebody like you?
They call the vet center. They call me. They call any veteran, such as myself, that is willing to step forward and say, "Hey, I've got an ear. I've got a message. Please come out.
Wow.
Come out and see."
Well, Doc, thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
You didn't get told that enough. I want to make sure that the whole audience watching Beck News right now.
Actually, Joel, when people say thank you for your service, my wife says, "Tell them thank you back." But it's hard for me to do that because back then, it's like a little too much, a little too late. But I appreciate people stepping forth and the attitude towards service people today. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. When we come back, we'll give you some closing thoughts. It's something you don't forget when you go to an air museum like I did today and you see that big part of America's history. You can't get it out of your head. So we'll talk about it just a little bit more as we head down the road.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree dental card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree dental card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree dental card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree dental card, you save $525. The Carefree dental card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree dental card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Spas, etc.
You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Elmiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Elmiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
I want want to tell you a story. You know, it was just such an honor to be able to talk to those Vietnam vets. But, you know, the world that I grew up in was this world. My dad was a World War II vet. He was in the Pacific Theater. And my dad wore that right on his sleeve. He was proud of that. In fact, he was the first commander ever of the Matador VFW. They built a VFW post there. And I believe it was post 9317. Those are numbers I shouldn't forget, so I'm pretty, I hope I got it right. But my dad and his buddies decided they needed a post to do much of what I think that Doc was talking about, to get together and be able to talk about their experience. There were men in my small town of Matador that really struggled with it, that really struggled with coming back. And they weren't, they didn't have available to them the type of things that Doc did. There was a man there that walked through Africa, getting shot at the whole time. There was a man there that was on the beach in Normandy. Now, both of those men struggled with alcohol. Both of those men struggled to make a living and to make a life for themselves. And so a lot of people in town didn't appreciate it, saw those guys as the town drunks. That isn't who they were. And my dad pointed that out to me every chance he could, that those individuals were basically our town heroes. Now, when the whole Vietnam era was going on, you know, I graduated high school in 1980. So in 79, the Army recruiter was at our house. My dad was working on the road. I was ready. I wanted to sign up. I wanted to be just like my dad. He came home and he said, "You're not doing it. You're not doing it." I said, "No, Dad, I'm going in the service." "You're not doing it. Until this country learns how to respect our veterans, until this country learns how to appreciate those men and women that served in Vietnam, until they learn how to say thank you, I don't want my son in the military." Think about that. I mean, to be in a place where you so proudly served your country, where every Memorial Day was one of the biggest days that the family could possibly have. And then to look at your son who's excited to go and who wants to go, and to look at him and say, "You're not going to do it." Hopefully we've got past all that. And I think we have. It's been good riding with you folks.